Okay, so looking at the dispensation of the heaven and the civilization of the heavens, starting from the highest order of ranking, we have seraphims, we have cherubims, we have thrones, we have dominion, we have virtues, we have powers, we have principalities, we have archangels, and we have angels. But while I looked at these 9 orders of various expressions of creatures in the heavenly rank, I discovered that at the zenith of it, especially according to biblical reports, at the zenith of it is a particular rank of creature called seraphim. The seraphim. So I began to seek what exactly makes these ones the zenith. What gave them that expression and what made them so noble in that civilization. Because I saw in Revelation chapter 22, I saw that the Apostle John the Beloved was caught up in the revelations, and he heard the utterances of an angel, and when the angel began to reveal deep things to him, he bowed down to worship the angel because the glory was so much. He seemed to be a custodian of mysteries, and the angel says, "See that you worship me not." He says, "Behold, I am one of your fellow servants." Maybe generations of heaven and earth will make sense to you now. The word fellow means me, I am a servant like you. And he now described from which order he expresses his servanthood from. He says from the let's read it together. Start from verse 8. Verse 8 will show us better. Let's read together. 1, 2, go. And I, John, saw these things and heard them. And when I heard and seen, I fell down of the angel which showed me these things. Next verse quickly. Then said he unto me, let's read. See thou do it not, for I am thy fellow servant, and of thy brethren the prophets, and of them which keep the sayings of this book. Worship God. Listen to some details given by that your brother. He says, I am your brethren. He said, these are the generations, these are the family of the heaven and of the earth. You will find out that anytime you begin to seek God, anytime you begin to press into God, and you begin to make relevant strides, and your life begin to strike a mark, one of the bounties of that way of sacrifice is that you will attract a being. Something that does a similar work like what you are doing will appear to you, just to certify that you have inherited the capacity to relate with us. Why I began to share from the beginning that heaven will move before the earth. Everything the earth is bedeviled with at the moment, the heavens have faced it and they prospered. The first place sin was found was heaven, not earth. The first place there was war was heaven, not earth. The first place there was rebellion was heaven, not earth. All these things was found in heaven. It has been solved in heaven. The earth is struggling with the things that the heaven had dealt with. And so the only way is to emulate the patterns of the heavens. How did they do it when they were in our situation? Right now we are trying to be creative, trying to find new. In fact, they say they overcame him by the blood of the Lamb and by the word of their testimony, and they loved not their life unto death. So in the context of what we are sharing, it says, I am one of your brethren, so I see you as a brother. Number 2, it says, I am from the company of the prophets. So there are prophetic clans in heaven. It's not only on earth that there are prophets. The day you begin to press into God and your life starts striking relevant chord, one of the bounties you will enjoy is that those who do a similar work like you there, they will fraternize with you. You see, it was Zechariah, the father of John the Baptist, that stands as a priest in Israel. And the work of a priest is the one that stands on behalf of the sinful nation to represent their interests before God. Not all men can stand before God. Only a priest can stand in his presence. Which angel appeared to Zechariah? He says, I am Gabriel that stands in the presence. So a man of the presence will attract an angel of the presence. In the battle of Jericho, when military intelligence fell very short of the kind of fortification they found on that wall. In fact, 5 chariots could go side by side on top of the wall. It was like a cube. Meaning, if you are able to, maybe by violence, push the wall down, as the wall fell like this, it's a fresh wall. The up is not lower than the down. When Israel was confronted with that challenge, a man appeared and he had his sword drawn. So Joshua approached him and said, you know, there's so much pride in that conversation. He says, are you, in other words, what that means is that choose your words carefully. How can you, if you know that it's the enemy, will you tell him that, are you with us or against us? He says, are you for us or against us? The angel that came says, I am neither for you nor against you. Lo, I am the captain of the host of God. Who is Joshua? Joshua is the captain of the physical host. The captain of the spiritual host appeared to Joshua. So it's a matter of brethren. The time where angels start calling you brother is that point where your life have struck a relevant chord, and they can now fraternize with you as fellow servants. They can start discussing God's agenda with you. In that point, your consecration has bridged the gap between earth and heaven. So for your sake, angels can dialogue with you part time. They know that you don't need to die before you talk with us. Your life has struck a mark. This is why they continue to make reference to the generations of the heavens and of the earth. Listen, even after several creatures fell with Satan, several creatures of high ranking disposition, it was only one that has capacity to tempt Jesus. Who came to Jesus? Lucifer, the light bearer. Only him can come to speak to the light of the world. It is an angel of light that will appear to a bearer of light. Because as long as you are journeying any path, there are those who have journeyed that path and they have been crowned with crowns of honor. So when they see you making progress on earth, a way of encouragement is to reveal themselves to you, to show you that this thing you are doing. You see, there have been several aeons of existence. We are not the first. As a matter of fact, our dispensation started with flood. Our dispensation started with water. No account of how God created water. They just told you that the Spirit of God began to hover. So the whole earth was submerged by water. That's how our story started. The same flood that had been cleansing various civilizations. But when it came to the flood of Noah, God needed to do something that would stop this storyline from repeating itself over and over and over again. So he used a covenant to hold the mouth of the deep. In case you have ever seen any rainbow in your life, know that there was an application from the mouth of the deep, telling Adonai that the sin of the world had crossed his threshold. Allow us to cleanse the system again. That rainbow you saw was a conversation of spirits. It means, I will remember I told you, I will never destroy the earth with what. It means there was an application. Somebody applied for flood. And you know, that rainbow, you say you want a rainbow to be behind your wedding picture. That is a romantic. Can I share something with you? Of all the symbols that our alphabet brethren would have chosen, they choose rainbow as their logo. You don't know what they are telling you. All spirits know that this particular compromise, this is the sin that ends civilizations. Check every civilization and every land, every people that have met the doom of God. There is a particular sin that was the last expression that was entertained. Even when the angels came into Sodom to check, because they say the sin has reached heaven, but they want to check whether a sin that went from earth to heaven, they now came down to inspect. Let's see whether this thing is even possible. They now found out that the angels that came, the men of Sodom, say they want to sleep with the men. The Lord say, let me give you my daughters. The men of Sodom say, we don't like girls. As you begin to see various distorted sexual orientation in any civilization, that is the marker of judgment. That's the end of that people. They have reached a reprobate state. That place, God has given them over to the lust of their heart. It will be hard for the impending doom to not come. This is why when we speak about people knowing exactly what the devil is doing, he's trying to plunge many and many into deception, into corruption, so that at the end of the day he will try to create more room, more time